Hello, dear students. Now we are starting a new chapter that the title of the chapter, the classical linear regression model assumptions and diagnostic test. And here is Dr. Amjad Ali. And we know that we have gone through the simple as well as multiple linear regression model assumptions, and we know that these assumptions must be fulfilled while applying multiple or simple linear regression model. So let's start. Then what happens if these assumptions are violated, and how can we solve the violation of these assumptions, and how can we deduct the violations of these assumptions. So what are the diagnostic tests are available for finding the violation of the assumptions. So let's start. There are five assumptions of error term of classical linear regression, and we know that the expected value of the error must be is equal to 0. So this reveals that when you find the error, you sum this error, it must be equal to 0, and if this is not equal to 0, then we cannot apply OLS on our data. Okay, the variance of the error must be constant. We technically call that that if the variance is not constant, then we call it a heteroscedasticity. We will cover in our coming session that this means that the variance of the whole series and the variance of any selected 2 or 3 or 4 observation from the series must be same with the whole with the variance of the whole series. So that's why we technically called it a variance. Variance must be constant is known as the homoscedasticity. If variance is not constant, then we call it a heteroscedasticity. Okay, number 3, covariance of two error must be equal to 0. This means that the series are in the series of the error, the two error must not be same. So if they are same, then we call it a issue of autocorrelation. So that's why there the error must not be same or must not be correlated with each other. Otherwise we cannot apply OLS on this data. Okay, covariance of error and explanatory variable. So this means that the error and explanatory variable must be independent in each other. So this reveals that covariance of error and explanatory variable must be equal to 0. Okay, number 5, the error is normally distributed. When you are talking about the normally distributed, then you say that your error has a mean 0 and variance constant. So fifth assumption is technically cover the first two assumptions again. So technically we call it a normally distributed error. So this means that when you graph your error term, then the bell shape curve will be generated from that series. Okay, before proceeding, there are some big questions which every researcher have in mind while conducting any type of econometric analysis. That how the first one is that how can violation of the assumption be detected. So this is the big question for the researcher, that how can we detect the violation of the assumption. Then what are the most likely causes of the violation in practice. So this is also a most important, that what are the causes, and under these causes that the OLS assumptions are violated. Okay, the third one, what are the consequences of the model if an assumption is violated, but if in fact is ignored and the researcher proceed regardless. So what happens if the researcher ignore ignore the violation of the assumption, and then what is the outcome from this estimated result. So here the two questions, the first two questions will demand a detailed discussion, and we are going to discuss the first two assumptions in detail. But what happens if the researcher if the researcher ignore the violation of the OLS assumption and proceed with these? So then then the coefficient of estimates were wrong, so we have estimated betas. So if the researcher ignore the assumptions of the OLS, then these estimated betas will wrong, and the estimated or associated standard errors are wrong. And if the researcher ignore the OLS assumption violation. Okay, last one, the distribution that were assumed for the test statistics are inappropriate. So sometimes the researcher violated the OLS assumption and apply the OLS, but the violation mold the estimation towards other methods, but the researcher applied the simple OLS, which is not appropriate. So under these conditions, the distribution that he is assumed to estimate the stats are inappropriate. So there is a pragmatic approach to solving problems associated with the use of model where one or more of the assumptions is not supported by the data will then be adopted. Such solution usually operates such as the assumptions are no longer violated. There are some cases then then the researcher, being a researcher, we suppose that the assumptions are no longer violated, and the problems are set stepped so that the alternative techniques are used which are still valid. So sometimes these conditions will be favorable for the researcher, that if the OLS assumptions are violated, then we have to move on some other techniques which are still valid to estimate the results of our model. Okay, there are some statistical distribution for the diagnostic tests. There are some famous tests which can be used to diagnose that the OL assumptions are violated or not. So for this, there are two famous tests which are used normally, and every statistical package, like you are very well familiar with eViews. So these tests are available in every statistical package or econometric package, you can say it, that Lagrange multiplier, that LM test, it is very famous, and the Wald test. And in chapter 3 you have gone through the eViews examples of Wald test, so you are familiar with the Wald test at the same time. Okay, what is the procedure for the LM test, and what is the procedure for the Wald test? Okay, the LM test technically follows the chi distribution with degree of freedom M, which is with degree of freedom equal to the number of restriction placed on the model, and we denoted it 1. You have gone through the T test and F test, and the T test degree of freedom T minus K, and the F test degree of freedom M T minus K. But the chi-square distribution follows the degree of freedom M. Here the Wald test which is follow the methodology or methodology of the F distribution. That's why the degree of freedom for the F test is MT minus K, which is the degree of freedom which you are very familiar with. M, number of restriction, and T minus K, and number of observation minus K, number of parameters. Okay, symptomatically, when we are talking about these two tests, so these two tests are normally equivalent, but their results will be different when we have a small sample size. But whenever you are increasing the sample size towards infinity, these two tests are equivalent, and we can say that there is direct relationship between the chi-square and the F distribution. So symptotically, variate will tend towards a chi-square variate divided by its degree of freedom. So technically, the formula of F distribution and chi-square distribution is become as uh, F follows the degree of freedom mt minus k, but chi-square follows the degree of freedom m divided by degree of freedom. So this is the case when you have a number of observation till infinity. So if you are small sample size or small number of observation, then f test and chi-square test will give you a different type of outcomes. So let's start our discussion for the first assumption that expected value of the error is equal to 0. So let's see this first simple definition of error. So error is normally called the unexplained variation which is not covered by the independent variable. It must be equal to 0. You have empirically gone through how you measure the expected value of error. So let's start the discussion in detail that the error term account for the variation in the dependent variable that the independent variable do not explain. So technically we call the error is a unexplained variation which is not covered, which is unexplained by the independent variable. So random chance should be determine the values of the error term for a model to be unbiased. The average value of the error must be equal. If the average value of error is not is equal to 0, then our model is unbiased and we cannot make the prediction or make any policy of our estimated results. So that's why we call it a unbiased results. We call it a biased result if our error expected value is not is equal to 0. But if you want unbiased result, so your average value of the error term must be equal to 0. Okay, suppose that we have the average value of the error is equal to plus or minus 10. This non-zero average value of error indicate that the model systematically underpredicts the observed value. So either you have a minus 10 or plus 10, then this will indicate that the 0 we are not following the assumption of the 0 error sum of the value of error is 0. So this reveals that our unexplained variation is enough which is not explained by the independent variable. So systematically we are using under predict the observed or under predicted model. Okay, statistician refers to a systematic error like this type of error as a bias, and it signifies that the model is inadequate. So because it is not correct on average. So we have to we have to found that the expected value of error must be equal to 0 at every cost. Okay, in fact, if a constant term, so here the solution is also highlighted by the Brooks that if a constant term is included in the regression model, the assumption will never be violated, and if there is no constant term in the in the regression model, then this assumption will be violated. So let's see the practically that if the constant is included, then what type of graphical representation will be occurred, and how can we interpret it that the expected value of error is not is equal to 0. Okay, let's see. As we know that if a constant term is included in the regression model, the assumption will be never violated. Let's see that if we have x-axis, here we have a variable, and here we have a y-axis, we have a y variable. This is our independent variable, and this is our dependent variable. Here are some outcomes of our variables x and y. Okay, if we draw a line here, then this is our estimated line. Okay, see, this estimated line will start from here, and after starting from here, this line will be showing a straight line trend. And here we have included a constant, so here we have dependent variable constant plus beta xt plus ut. So see, after starting from here, so this part is called the constant. Okay, what happened if constant is not included in our regression model? So here we have dependent variable, independent variable, and if we have no intercept or no constant in the regression model, then our estimated line will start from the here, and this is not showing a straight line relationship. This is showing an increasing or decreasing relationship. So that's why it's not showing a straight line relationship, which is the main requirement for applying the OLS. So see, here we have, if we have a yt is dependent variable and x is independent variable, and if we have a ut. So in this case, if our estimated regression line started from the origin, then keep it in mind that always our sum of the error is equal to 0. So we cannot apply OLS, simple OLS on this assumption. But what happened? But this is the main case that under some financial theories which are prefer that the error term is intercept or constant is not included in the regression in the regression model, because they believe that everything is started from a number of business started from the zero. So that's why they are not prefer to include interceptor constant term in the model. So there are if some financial theory suggests that for a particular application there should be no intercept, so that an interceptor constant, so that the regression line is forced through the origin. Okay, if the regression did not include an intercept and the average value of the error was non-zero, so keep it in mind. Under this condition you cannot apply OLS, and the several undesirable there are. If you are not including the intercept or constant term in your regression model, then your error is not is equal to 0 and non-zero, you can say it. Then these type of consequences, undesirable consequences, will be raised. The first one is that that we know that that the R square is the ratio of the explained variation divided by total variation. So R square becomes negative. So keep it in mind. This reveals that the average value of y itself explaining most part of the dependent variable rather than the explanatory variable. So the explained variation is normally considered that the explanatory variables are explaining, but if our error term is not is equal to 0, then our in this case our R square becomes negative, and we found that the mean value of the dependent variable is explaining much variation in the dependent variable. Okay, second and the more fundamental, a regression model no intercept or intercept parameter could lead a potentially severe bias in the slope coefficient. So in this case our estimated slope becomes invalid. In this if the estimated slope coefficient are invalid or full of bias, then in this case R square and adjusted R square become meaningless. So keep it in mind. We are very much concerned with the with R square and adjusted R square, because the R square and adjusted R square shows that how much variation is explained by the independent variable. So see here, if much variation is explained by the y bar, or mean value of y, then how can we say that the explanatory variables are much power to explain the dependent variables? So in this case, the meaning of r square or adjusted r square is not important for the analysis or for the policy implication at the same time. Okay, let's see. We have the dependent variable, independent variable, and dependent variable, and we have some outcomes of our independent and dependent variable, and here we have the estimated regression line. So let's see if we have start from the origin line. So this estimated line started with intercept, and this estimated regression line is started from the origin. So if we follow this estimated line, so this estimated line showing a straight line relationship between the independent and dependent variable, but this estimated line is not showing a straight line relationship between the independent and dependent variable. So the effect is that the estimated line in this case through the origin. So in this case, if we are starting from the origin, the slope estimate is biased, so our estimated parameter become biased, so we cannot use these estimated result for our prediction point of view as well as for the policy suggestion. So we always prefer a model with intercept. Either you are using intercept in the form of beta, you can write it in the name of beta or alpha, but if you are including intercept in your regression model, then your this assumption will never ever be violated. So you have to use this regression line in case of simple regression, and in case of multiple regression, you always started your regression line with the intercept or constant. Okay, this is the first assumption. Okay, in coming video we will discuss this second assumption violation. So see you with your next video. Ciao.